They actually sent a little picture. They have a whole XY diagram, and they want to know which equation best describes the relationship between X and Y.
Okay. All right. So if you go to my screen, I just started compiling the information from this question. I'm going to, I guess, finish this right now. So what was given was an XY table, and it gave us these values. So for I'm listing them as we speak. And the multiple choice, if you looked at all of the choices, and it was kind of hard to see on your screen, I'm sure. It was hard for me to see too. But if you looked at all of the choices were in the form of a linear equation. And if you watched our show last week on Wednesday, we actually had a trivia question where I explained what makes something linear or not. So watch that episode if you really are interested in that. But so since all of the choices were in the format of a linear equation, that means that we need to find out what our slope, which is m, and what our y-intercept is, which is b. And if we can figure those things out based on this table of values, then we have the equation for the line that this would create. So the easy one is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always going to be, and I'm going to draw, it's going to be kind of ugly, and I apologize, but with a graph, if your x value, so this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, where your x value is 0, your y value is going to be that y-intercept. So you can kind of see, I plotted that point, that first point, 0, -4, where x is 0, y is -4. That's your y-intercept. The y-intercept is where the line or graph runs into the y-axis. So that one's relatively easy. So we know that our b, or y-intercept, is going to be -4, because that's what the y value is when x is 0. The trickier one a little bit is slope. Slope is going to be found by taking your two y values, finding the difference between the two, so y1 minus y2, all over x1 minus x2. And so we can choose, and it doesn't really matter which two coordinates we choose, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to highlight the two that I'm picking just so you can see how I'm getting my numbers and how I'm calculating everything. But so I chose 0 and -4 and 4 and -20. I chose those as my x's and my y's to find out what my slope is. So continuing that, I'm going to decide that this -4 is y1 and this -20 is y2. It doesn't really matter what you decide each of them are going to be, just so that with your y1, the x1 goes with the y1, and then the x2 goes with the y2. Doesn't really matter. Again, I could switch the order of them just so as long as the 1 and the 1 go together, and then the 2 and the 2 go together. So y1 would be -4 minus, and then y2, again, was -20, so minus -20, all over x1, which is 0, and then minus x2, which is 4. And then I'm just going to simplify this. So my numerator, I have -4 minus -20, which is going to give me positive 16. And then my denominator is 0 minus 4, which is going to give me -4. And then we have 16 divided by -4, which gives me -4. So that means that my slope, or m, is going to be -4. So these are the two pieces that I needed in order to find the equation for this table. And so going back to this format that I brought up at the very beginning, what we can do is just go back and say y equals, and replace m with the number I found out the slope was, which is -4. So -4x, and then plus the y-intercept, or b, which we found, again, is also -4. And so then this is going to end up being the equation of the line that this table creates. When you're coming up with an equation, you always want to fill in every variable except for x and y. Those are the two things that stay whenever you're coming up with an equation. And it looks like that choice would have been choice C on that multiple choice question. So there you go. There you have it. How to come up with a linear equation if you're given a table of values.